G'day everybody and welcome back to Risky Rollers. I'm joined here today by Peter from Beyond Games and Hobbies.
Thanks for having me, Dalton.
And he and Matt, who you saw yesterday, will be joining us all weekend for the live coverage of the Australia-New Zealand Team Championship 2024 from down here in Melbourne. I'm keen for that. Tomorrow morning, kicking off.
Yeah.
It's going to be sweet.
Bright and early, and this is going to be a hell of a matchup.
Yeah. So today we are discussing the lists of Team Victoria and Team Western Australia playing each other round one tomorrow morning. It's two of the favourite teams in the week into the weekend.
WA will only ever take the dark horse title.
Yeah,
we can't ever proclaim ourselves favourites.
But yeah, it's going to be pretty good. Before we get into those, I want to give a huge thanks to all of our sponsors. That's General Games, Dice Arcade, Baron of Dice, Miniature Scenery, and Proxy Wars. Check them out down below, and check out Peter and Matt's hobby store, Beyond Games and Hobbies, over in Western Australia. Also linked down below. And then we'll get started. So what we're doing today is going through the lists and lineups of those two teams. We're not doing a detailed list analysis. What we are going to do is talk about each list briefly, give some thoughts on it, and encourage all of you, if you've got any questions or things you want to see or know about over the weekend, to drop those comments down below. We'll be trawling those and going and asking the players directly, interviewing them on stream over the weekend to answer all of your questions about them. Let's start up with Team Victoria. So we have the Imperial Guard being played by Adam Camilleri.
Mr. Calamari himself is back at his roots.
That's the one. And this is a fairly standard list. You've got Bulgarin, you've got artillery. We've got, do you want to run us through quickly what's on the list?
Yeah, look, top to bottom, I'm seeing a Commissar, I'm seeing a Lord Solar Leontis, Tank Commander in a Demolisher. We got Ursula Creed, we got Catachans, we got Infantry Squads, we've got Chimeras, 2 Basilisks, 2 squads of Bulgarin, we've got 3 Manticores, 2 more Scout Sentinels, and a Calidus Assassin.
Very nice. You've got the artillery to slow everyone down, you've got Bulgarins to slow them down, you've got Sentinels for spotting, Calidus for objectives, and then with a Kaskan as well?
I don't see Kaskan.
No, it's all about the artillery and the tank commander for actual damage output here.
Yeah, no Canadian capsicums in this list.
Yeah. It's pretty good. It's a good Custodi's counter. It's going to be trying to get that matchup and just really gum up the centre of the board.
It looks like a typically layered Adam list, and it's the way he likes to play as well. So, again, interesting to see how he decides to field it tomorrow. Yeah.
Up next, we have the Necrons with Boyd Morrill returning to Team Victoria after a couple of years, playing the Necrons. Canoptek Court. Do you want to run us through quickly what's on there?
Yeah, when was the last time he played for Vic? Was it 2022?
2022 up in New South Wales.
Because I played his Grey Knights back that year.
Yeah.
So looking forward to getting, he just loves silver things, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, he's got his robot boys. He's got a Luminos Azeris. He's got 3 Plasmancers, 3 Technomancers. We've got 3 units of Immortals. Mate, he loves the number 3, doesn't he? Daniel Ricciardo, his favourite driver. Canoptek Doomstalker. We've got Scarabs, Wraiths, Boring, and Locust Destroyers.
Yep. It's Canoptek Court is me putting Cryptex in every unit you can. Wraiths are hard to shift. Doomstalkers have decent damage output. And then you've got the 30 Immortals are going to be objective holding and then surprisingly good damage output. They're getting something in the vicinity of 20 shots apiece with Tesla.
That's incredibly nasty.
They're going to chew through infantry really nicely.
So what do you think this is going to be trying to go into?
Necron, well, almost everything really. Necrons are one of those lists at the moment that plays really well to a lot of things. It's not Hypercrypt, so it's not going to naturally score as well. Canoptek tends to be a little bit trickier to play for scores.
Yeah.
But Boyd's got a lot of practice on it. It's going to be really interesting to see him over the weekend.
Well, he definitely, he said this in 2022, he's definitely in his element when he's comfortable with what he's using.
Absolutely, yeah. Up next, we have Dean Sinbeck on the World Eaters.
Oh, we could have made a meme and said he was using Sisters of Battle. Of course he's using World Eaters.
Naturally, of course.
Blood for the Blood God? For the Blood God?
That's the one. And yeah, do you want to run us through that real quick?
We have Big Mr. Angrion. We have a Lord Invocatus. We have a World Eaters Lord on Jugger. Juggernaut's the name of my club in WA. Nice. He's got Jackals, Corn Berserkers. He's got 8-bound, Exalted 8-bound, Exalted 8-bound, Exalted 8-bound. And a unit of Terminators.
Yep. So basically my notes are just, he's got Terminators and he's got 5 units of 8-bound. They're pretty wild. He's just going to be using all of their movement tricks and things to get them up the board, precisioning out characters and so on, and then Angry Ron himself being this massive recurring threat across the game.
He's going to hit people in the face as hard as he can with no apologies.
Pretty much, yeah. And then beat them at 40k as well.
Yeah.
Then up next we have Black Templars with Dylan Cowan running them.
Is this Dylan's first ATC?
Second. He was there last year as well. He's been doing very well the last couple of years. He's been like a rocketed straight to the top of the competitive circuit. He's a really good player, and he's been practicing a lot on a bunch of different Space Marines this year. So yeah, what have we got for BTs?
High Marshal Helbrecht on the biggest base I've ever seen for a Space Marine character.
Oh yeah.
Lieutenant with combi weapon. We've got 2 Tech Marines. We have 2 Crusader squads. We have an Impulsor and a Rhino, mixing the new and the old. We've got a Gladiator Reaper ×2, a Gladiator Valiant. We have an Eliminator squad, and these are Instigator Bolt Carbines. But then we do, I'm just looking for Las Fusils. I just want to say it in French.
There's two Las Fusils in each squad.
A Predator Destructor, a Primaris Sword Brethren unit, a Repulsor Executioner, and a Scout squad.
Yep. So
this looks like something you'd see in a White Dwarf Battle Report.
Kind of.
Mixed units.
A lot of mixed units. It's not as heavy a parking lot as some of the Black Templar lists, but there are still quite a lot of tanks there, a lot of firepower. The Eliminators are a nice tech. I'm a big fan of snipers. The Las Fusils are going to be like punching into vehicles really well. And the Bolt Carbines, I believe, are the things that give them the extra move afterwards.
Yeah.
Which
like
gets them back into the Impulsor.
Like the Eldar from Wish effect.
Exactly, yeah. So they get out of the Impulsors, they shoot, they get back in the Impulsors, and the Impulsor shoots and shoots them again because the Impulsor now has all of their Las Fusils. It's good fun.
Pretty cool. I mean, not for your opponent. But
well, no. But for Eliminators, it's pretty cool. Then we have Thousand Suns. And who do we have on Thousand Suns? Jeremy Martino.
Jeremy Marigold himself.
That's the one.
Exciting to watch Jeremy with whatever he pilots. He loves his technical lists.
Yeah.
And obviously driving.
This has a flavour of a Jeremy list as well when you read through it.
It has to. Like, I'm sure all of this is not even going to make sense. But what have we got? We've got Araman. We've got an Exalted Sorcerer on a Disc of Zench. An Infernal Master, Big Magnets the Red, who apparently did nothing wrong. Thousand Suns Sorcerer. We've got Rubric Marines ×3. We've got a Thousand Suns Rhino. We have Scarab Occult Terminators. We have Chaos Spawn ×2. And we have a unit of Cultists and some Zangor Enlightened.
Yep. So it's the thing with Jeremy is really interesting because you'll read his list and it feels very unfocused. There's just a scattering of different things going on. You've got 20 Rubricae, which is, I think, like just a weird midpoint compared to every other list we've seen. They're either minimal or like maximum, right? You've got some Terminators kicking around. You've got some random Spawn. You've got only 1 unit of Enlightened. You've got 1 Sorcerer, 1 on disc. And then he's going to play it on the weekend, and hopefully we get to see it on stream at some point. He's going to play it on the weekend in a really technical way where you've got all these overlapping buffs and effects. He's going to pace the game out really well. And you just, going to be thrown by the way how well the list performs as a cohesive unit, despite it being a really disseminated.
What's always impressed me, where with a technical list, you see so many people sitting in the corner like Eminem with a hood up, kind of trying to get in the zone. Jeremy's going to be driving the pairings, I'd assume. Yeah. And he's going to then change gears and jump straight into piloting a list like this. It's really worth watching. So I do hope we manage to get it on stream. Yeah.
Then we have on Chaos Knights, we have Soli himself.
Western Australia's favourite son, Matt Morrisoli.
Absolutely. And he is playing the Poxbringer variant of Chaos Knights. Talked about this ad nauseum. It's a Stalker with the Aura of Terror. It's 5 Brigands, it's 6 Carnivores, it's 2 Nurglings, and it's a Poxbringer. Let's move on.
Solly smash.
Yep.
Can he summon a Plague Hulk, though? That's the $6 million question.
Yeah. All right. Then we have Reese Cunningham on Sisters of Battle. Now, we will have seen him on stream at a couple of events this year. At the Men's Masquerade in particular, it's from like 3 times. It was unfortunate for him that he got called on the stream table so often, but he just kept being in the pairings we wanted on camera.
He's obviously playing good Warhammer as well, because there's been no fallout.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Morven Val, Palatine, Saint Celestine, and her Gemini. Battle Sister Squad, a big Battle Sister Squad. 10 ladies. 2 Rhinos, 3 units of Flagellants, all units of 10. I'm saying a Castigator ×2. 2 units of Crusaders. We've got some Nundams with War Maces and Multi-Melters. Repentia, 1 unit of Repentia. It still trips me out only seeing 1 unit of Repentia. 2 units of Seraphim, Assistant Novitiate Squad, and a Zeph Squad. Big Zeph Squad with a banner. The
Novitiate Squad's really interesting. He used them at Men's Masquerade from memory as well. And they're a really good, like, cheap unit that's surprisingly durable for it, and then throws out these random little extra bits of utility. It's a lot of kill team units have that thing where they've got 3 or 4 different tiny bits of war gear in there that you've never heard of before, that just out of nowhere will do this random thing, and Reese knows how to play those to full effect.
Like you expect a VIC team to come in skilled and drilled. VIC won the first ever ATC that I attended in 2014. We've got huge respect for them, even though we hate you all.
Yep, fair.
With all the love in the world. As backhanded as that sounds.
Up next, our final list is Stuart Trainer on the Grey Knights. And this is one of the first non-Imperial Knight Grey Knight lists we've seen. The rest of them are just trying to play Imperial Knights. This is the triple interceptor with only 4 Dread Knights and then generic good stuff scattered across.
Only 4 Dread Knights.
It's the most Dread Knight light list of the weekend.
Oh yeah, I've seen Lockie's list. We'll get to that later. Stoked to see Stewie back in the scene.
Absolutely.
He's one of the nicest men in 40k.
Also the official unit of measurement for mass in Victoria.
Yeah. I mean, he would be the smallest player, I'm guessing, by a fair margin. But with a big heart. We've got a Brotherhood Champion, Brotherhood Librarian, Castellan Crow, Grandmaster in Dread Knight, 1 strike squad, 10-man strike squad, Interceptors ×3, and the rest of his Dread Knights, and some Purifiers.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. The 10 Purifier squad's an interesting choice. Unfortunately, he was at an event recently. We're playing this list or a very similar one, and I didn't get the chance to go over and watch his game. So I'm definitely going to be keeping a keen eye on him over the weekend. So I do want to see how this plays.
My question on this is, what is he gaining without the extra Dread Knights? That seems to be very much the flavour.
So I believe it's the utility in the just mess of units he can now be scattering around with their sort of uppy downy.
Yep.
These interceptors themselves have their own teleportability. So you're effectively going from 3 units you can do it to 6.
Yep.
And then Stu's a veteran of Genestealer cults as well. He was one of the best Genestealer cult players for a very long time. So I suspect he's going to be coming in with a lot of that same technical movement and positioning skill that he's developed there, playing this list over the weekend.
Interesting. Oh, look, I'm going to be excited to see it, because obviously
it's one of the things that unfortunately I've just not had the chance to catch up with him too much during practice and so on. So I do want to see how it plays over the weekend. Well,
and I suppose obviously with the number of Team Australia players in both of these teams too, Lockie Riggs also using Grey Knights and is obviously piloting
a very different Grey Knight build.
Yeah, very different Grey Knight build, and getting in those reps for Worlds later on in the year. So be interesting to see how a lot of these play out, not just here, but then obviously prepping for the future to see Australia.
The context of this event happening with so many Team Australia players here as well is going to be fascinating. One of the things I'm looking forward to tomorrow is getting to see all of these play out.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, the purpose of this is to give people a window into competitive play at a team level. And I mean, the original concept that Diffie piloted was to get Australians ready to go to Worlds.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, it's pretty cool that, 12 years later, we're still here, and that the ante just keeps going up every year. It gets me excited, which is why we're literally here, even without playing, because the commentary is just as exciting.
Oh, 100%, yeah. All right. Now, going on from our home team to your home team.
The best of the best from the West.
So Team WA, we have... piloting the Thousand Suns. I've lost the name here. Adam Batista.
Adam Batista, not a barista. Lovely, lovely human being. I think just genuinely one of the best people I've met playing 40k. He's piloting T-Suns, which is an army very close to his heart. We're rocking Araman, an Exalted Sorcerer on disc. We've got 3 Infernal Masters, big old magnets, the red, a Thousand Sun Sorcerer. We've got 3 units of rubrics, 5 units of rubrics, I can't count. Zangors, 1 Rhino, and 2 units of cultists.
So this is Power Armor Jail. Power Armor Goat Jail.
Yep.
You're going to be flooding the board with rubrics. You've got the cultists there for objective holding. And do they still make things sticky? I know CSM ones do, and T-Suns do as well. Fantastic. And then, all your characters for your damage output. Magnus, the 3 Infernal Masters, kicking around, throwing out mortal wounds.
So this is Adam's 3rd ATC as well, and it's his first time playing. Been coaching for the last 2 years, and then he's also coaching Team Australia. So again, exciting to watch a player swap gears and put on a different hat, and I'm really stoked that he's going to get his opportunity to throw some dice in anger. Yeah. Friendly anger.
Next up on Imperial Guard, we have Callum German.
Yes, so Callum's hot off the back of, Oceanic Championships last year.
Yep.
Went across to the Games Workshop Worlds singles with Lockie Rig. And has really kind of gone from strength to strength in the last couple of years. He's using Astro Milliwatt now, and he has Gaunt's Ghosts, he has a Lord Solar Leontis, Tank Commander and a Demolisher, got Ursula Creed. Are we just reading Adam's list again? Because
Pretty
we've
much,
got
yeah.
some Catechins, some infantry, 2 units of Bulgarins, only the 1 Earthshaker carriage battery.
Yep.
Some Capsicums times 3.
3 units of them. Yeah.
We've got 3 Manticores and 2 units of Scout Sentinels, or 2 single Scout Sentinels.
Gaunt's Ghosts are another of those like really strange utility units. We've seen a few lists run. Keen to see them over the weekend, where that every single model in that unit brings like a different special rule or ability to the table.
Callum does love those synergies, those weird synergies, and he is looking for those opportunities for something that is a little bit left of centre.
Yeah, exactly. So those will be interesting to see in the few lists that are running them. The Earthshake is an interesting choice. And then, triple Cascan and double Bulgarin is like the classic at this point.
I mean, lock it and load it.
Yep.
And off we go.
Up next, Chaos Knights. The only difference here is we have 2 Nurglings and a Beast of Nurgle instead of the 3 Nurglings or the Nurglings and Poxbringer. Otherwise, it's War Dog with no enhancement. So the Stalker, no enhancement, 5 Brigands, 6 Carnivores.
Kind of loves his big smashy smash, like he loved in the previous edition playing with the 4 Keepers list.
Yep.
First ATC, and he's been doing good things in WA the last couple of years. He's definitely earned his results. Exciting to have him come over and see what he can deliver.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's going to love this stage and, again, be one of those guys that goes back into the community, like, full of vim and vigour, excited with what he's experienced, I hope, because, again, I love this event. I can't stress that enough.
All right. Up next, we then have the Necrons, piloted by Courtney Hill, running... What was it? Oh, this was this one. This was the other... Right, so you got the Nightbringer, Imatech, and then 3 Technomancers. You've then got 2 units of Acantharites, triple Doomstalker, triple Wraiths, triple Scarabs, and triple Destroyers.
Well, yeah, Courtney back on the Metal Boys. He's kind of floated in and out of this army over the years. Doesn't seem as archetypical as some of the other Necron lists I've looked at.
Yep.
Because he does very much like to bring his own flavour to things. And the best example being like that Liam Hackett list, again, of years past. Either worked for you or it didn't. And I know Courtney wasn't a fan of that. How do you see this playing on the table?
So this is actually, the one I want to echo this is a list from yesterday, Edward Askey's Tower list, double triple.
Yep.
In the main feedback I had from that list was how focused it seemed.
Yep.
Everything in that list seemed to have a purpose and to be maximized efficiency for it. That's what this feels like. You've got 3 units of Wraiths because they're the toughest thing the Necrons can bring. You've got 3 Technomancers to go with them. That's it. There's no fat on that bit of the list.
Yep.
You've got 2 Acantharites because that's what you can fit, and you only need 2 of them because you're only targeting 2 units a turn to kill. There's no fat to cut there. 3 Doomstalkers because you've got swingy firepower, you need the 3rd one to guarantee efficiency. You've got the Scarabs there for scoring, and they're just minimal squads, but you have 3 of them because you need to score with them. Everything in this list screams efficiency. It can fall apart if you start picking it apart well yourself, but the race will make that really hard to do.
The original Angry Dad, a la Courtney, will be repped and ready, and he's one of the leaders of Team WA. So again, exciting to see him in his element. Come tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Next up, we have Custodies, piloted by Harrison Darg. Now, this is a very archetypal Custodies list at this point. It's 2 Blade Champions and Trajan, and then just Foot Stodies. You've got 1 unit of Sisters. So
Harrison, this is his first ATC. I've played with him at WATC, and we've been able to win that event together before. Really lovely dude. Typically a Black Templars player, but then with Jordan Beresford on Marines for Team Australia is where he's now pivoted into Custodes, which was his first army, but not his one true love. So I'm seeing Blade Champion times 2, Trajan Valoris, 3 units of Custodian Guard, a unit of Prosecutors, Laris Custodians, 2 units of Wardens.
5 are Laris Custodians for what it's worth too, which is worth noting when you see those in larger numbers.
Yep. And a Calidus Assassin and Lord Inquisitor Kyria Draxus.
Yep. So there's nothing too... Like, the only surprising thing there really is the 5-man Alaris. Usually you see them in 2s because you run them as little objective grabbers and backfield. Because there's no Unleash the Lions anymore, is there? There's no way to split them. Yeah. So looking to build a really tanky unit, I suspect Trajan probably runs with them. No, Draxus? Okay, yeah. So it might be Draxus or on their own. Just to be a big tanky unit cruising on the middle of the board, I suspect.
Yeah, I mean, they're big and they're tough. They will take a fair bit to get through. If he gets into a matchup with someone that just can't deal with them, they won't go anywhere.
In teams, kind of fine, because in a singles matchup, it emphasizes the weakness of custodians, which is they're too expensive, and you just start losing dudes. If you lose a couple of Alaris quickly, it becomes a big problem. But in teams, you can kind of dodge that with the pairings process.
Look, Custodes are just one of those armies where even though you roll a little bit hot with vulnerable saves across the board, and they will just ruin your morning.
Absolutely. Next up, as mentioned, we have Jordan. Is it Beresford or Beresford?
Beresford.
Beresford.
Yeah, look, Geordie's, again, gone from strength to strength. He kind of burst onto the scene for ATC in 2022.
Yep.
He's one of the most innovative players I've ever met. Was an absolute legend, was one of the standouts of our 2022 team, and again, has gone from strength to strength.
Yeah.
Playing Marines, which is an army that he really does love. And yeah, Blood Angels. So, I mean, this has to have a Team Australia flavour to it.
Yep.
I haven't asked in this. I've specifically tried to stay out of it, knowing that we were coming over and commentating. But we've got a Chaplain, we've got Lamarties, we've got a Sang Priest with Jump Pack, we've got Sanguinator himself and Tycho. Intercessor squad, we've got 2 Rhinos, Assault Intercessors ×2, 3 Blade Guard Vets, Death Company Marines ×2. 4 of those, and 2 of them are big units of 10.
Yep, only one of them have jump packs. The others are going to be in Rhinos or outflanking, I suspect.
Yep, and 2 Scout squads to round things out.
Yep. This is a really interesting Bengals list. You're going to have a bunch of really fast-moving, oppressive combat units. It's going to play like a weaker version of World Eaters or Custodies, I feel. You're going to be putting a lot of pressure on early, but you're not going to want to run into those mirrors or those like combat mirrors.
Jordan plays team roles incredibly well.
Yeah.
If again, I cast back to in 2022, I think on his application he said he would play anything but Eldar. I ended up piloting Harlequins and being one of the standouts of the team. He's just one of those guys with that mercurial just pick up and play instinct. So again, he's one that I'd be really excited to have on stream.
Absolutely. That list in particular sounds really interesting to see, because it's not the typical Bengals list you see at the moment.
And he's just a top lad. Yeah. Even though he shaved his head at the moment for some reason.
Up next, we have Grey Knights. Now, we mentioned this before when we were talking about Trainer's Grey Knights. But this is a very simple list.
Lachlan, the big rig himself, he's Team WA's captain. He's been doing amazing things for our scene in Perth. Huge supporter of the Beyond stores as well. That's not why he's the captain, but he's just an excellent human being. Celiac though, so don't feed him any bread. That's a top tactic if you want to get him out of the game really early. Brotherhood Tech Marine, 2 Grandmasters, 3 Grandmasters in Nemesis Dreadknights, and Caldor Diego himself. We have a Terminator squad, a Strike squad, and another 3 Dreadknights.
This is the big 6 Dreadknight list.
Yeah, I like hammers and fire. Like, I mean, to be fair, I also love hammers and fire. So, I mean, win-win.
Yeah, and then you've got 10 Terminators, I believe.
Yes, another big unit of Termies.
Yeah, so you've functionally got 7 big bricks of stuff that's going to be hard to kill.
Lockie loves this kind of list. Again, he's playing best Warhammer I've ever seen him play. He did amazing things, again, at the World Singles by G-Dub last year. Hopefully at this event, none of his cards go missing. Not that I'm implying anything. Or am I? And then repping Vanguard Tactics as well. Shout out to Stephen Box there. So, like, we've really got someone that's kind of going from strength to strength. And again, like, if you're an aspirational player, I'd be going and talking to Lockie and talking about his journey. He also offers coaching. So he's very much someone that's worth talking to this weekend.
Absolutely.
If you can understand him, because he does sound like Boomhauer from King of the Hill.
Finally, we have my favourite Eldar list of the weekend. To proper your Inari list. So you've got Death Jester and you've got the Vizark and Yvrain, and it does mix Eldar and Dark Eldar.
Yep. So piloted by Michael Horton, another 2 units of Shadow Spectres, got support weapons as well, 2 units of Swooping Hawks, a Harlequin troop, 2 units of single War Walkers, 2 units of Warp Spiders, and some Cabalite Warriors, and some Mandrakes, and some Scourges ×2, and just the 1 Venom at the end to round out that list.
Yeah.
Michael is one of many Hortons that play Warhammer. They're all very good as well. So he also looks incredibly similar to his 2 brothers that are twins. So no, it's not Andrew, it's not Robert. This time it's Michael. And he's playing a list that's going to be janky with lots of movement. They do like playing the game differently, that family.
Yeah. But no, this is definitely my favourite Eldar list. It runs the Inari.
You'll be tickled pink or maybe angry to hear that.
Well, yeah. It runs Inari and leans into the strengths that can allow, where you've got the Dark Eldar firepower and mobility tying up with the regular Eldar mobility. the Swooping Hawks and the Warp Spiders in particular, I'm noting they're going to be really good for objective scoring and so on. And just throwing out loads of lance firepower between the War Walkers and the Scourgers.
Yeah, he plays the team game really well. Again, he's not afraid to try things that are different either. And it's great to have him at what I believe is now his third ATC.
Yeah, be fantastic.
It's not ATC if there's not a Horton playing for Team WA. That's a fact.
Well, yeah, fantastic. So that's the lineups for Team WA and Team VIC. On Team WA having Thousand Suns, Imperial Guard, Chaos Knights, Necrons, Custodis, Blood Angels, Grey Knights, and Eldar. I don't think there are any big surprises in either of those lineups.
You're not going to see in the teams that are coming over to push for top spots.
Yeah.
You're not going to see those. Well, you're either going to see something incredibly left of centre that no one's come up with. As the game continues to evolve, you know, you're going to see less of those risks, and also top end players are going to go out and get what they need to get to field those top lists.
Oh, too. Absolutely, yeah.
You're not limited to what's in the cabinet.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so thank you guys for joining us for this. Make sure to leave any comments down below with any questions at all you've got for these or any of our other things going all week. Join us tomorrow morning. Streams are kicking off at the top of my head. I should have checked this beforehand. I believe about 9:30, 9 o'clock.
8:30.
8:30. Cool. I've got Lawrence waving at me from behind the camera over there, doing hand signals and stuff. Stream kicking off at 8:30. We're going to have Team VIC and Team WA on first.
That's 6:30 WA time, so set your alarms and get up for it, because this is
look,
one you're not going to want to miss.
There's no need. You don't need to watch WA get demolished round one. But yeah, make sure to join us tomorrow. It'll be with us and the Beyond lads. We've got Peter and Matt coming across. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining me on this one, Peter.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you all for watching. We'll catch you bright and early tomorrow morning.
Come on, WA.
Yeah.